I'm Darren George and I grow and restore bonsai trees. I'm going to walk you through how I restore an overgrown bonsai tree. The tree that I'm working on today is called Cotoneaster. This particular tree was started by a bonsai professional up north in England and came into my possession when the previous owner decided to give up bonsai and had let the tree deteriorate somewhat. The tree has fallen into disrepair. It has several overgrown branches and there are also a number of branches that have completely died. The dead wood is rotting and falling away from the tree. The first step in restoring this bonsai tree is going to be cleaning up the massive branches so that I can see the underlying structure of the tree. I'm going to remove any dead pieces and generally thin out the massive leaves and twigs. Now I can see what's going on inside of the canopy. I can see that there are a couple of branches that are growing from the same position. They're crowding each other out and making the tree look quite messy and spoiling the flow of the design. So I'm going to select one or two branches to completely remove to open up some space to ensure the health of the branches that remain and also create a more open and rounded feel to the canopy. Where I am removing a larger branch, I'm going to use a special putty that we call cut paste. The cut paste helps the wound heal much faster than it ordinarily would and prevents rot and bacteria setting in. Where I've created some space in the canopy, I'm going to use some wire to reposition a couple of the remaining branches so that we've got quite a nice even distribution of foliage around the tree and remove any large gaps in the canopy. And once they're all in position, the work for this moment is complete and I can allow the tree to respond and grow into the new shape. Several months later in the spring, and the state of the deadwood is really starting to bother me. The longer I leave it, the more it's going to deteriorate, so I'd like to get the deadwood treated and hardened. Before I apply the treatment to the deadwood, I have to ensure that the deadwood is thoroughly dry. I keep it out of the elements under shelter so that it can dry out. I'm using a 2-part epoxy resin. It has a solvent mixed in with it that encourages the resin to penetrate the soft deadwood so that the epoxy can harden further into the core of the wood and hopefully allow it to last longer. I'm applying the epoxy resin to the deadwood as carefully as I can, trying to ensure not to get it on the live wood or on the soil. I'm going to let it dry for a couple of days. Now that the epoxy is completely dry, I'm rigorously brushing it to take the sheen off the surface of the wood. I really want it to look old and sun bleached rather than shiny and new. So using a steel brush, it roughs up the surface and takes that reflection off the wood. After a long and hot summer, this tree has absolutely exploded with growth. The branches are super long, super thick, and really healthy. Once again, I need to come along. I need to cut back these branches to regain the shape of the canopy. I'm also checking for any opportunities to reposition any branches that aren't in the ideal locations. So with all these really long shoots that have grown over summer, I'm going to trim them back to regain the silhouette. And it also gives me another opportunity to apply some wire to reposition any new branches that have developed since and continue filling in the tree's crown. Now, with all the watering that I've been doing over the hot summer, we've got some hard water stains built up around the base of the tree, on the bottom of the trunk and on some of the roots on the soil surface. I'm using a toothbrush and vinegar to try and dissolve and scrub off some of that white calcium buildup. On the soil surface there are some undissolved fertiliser pellets. I'll quickly brush those off to reveal the green moss underneath. And that concludes the work on this tree. Now I'm done with this bonsai, I'm really excited to see how it responds and continue working with it as it grows into the future.